Welcome to all. I am Dr. R. Murugan, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Applications, MES College, Marampalli. In this video, we discuss normalization based on the syllabus of second semester BCA of Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam.
The topic covered are informal design guidelines for relational databases, functional dependencies, and normal forms, which includes 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BCNF. Let us first focus on the informal design guidelines for relation schemas. As you know that there are 4 informal guidelines which may be used as measures to determine the quality of relation schema design. Those are semantics of attributes. We should make sure that the semantics of the attributes is clear in the schema. Second, reducing redundant values in tuples. Third, reducing null values in tuples. And fourth, disallowing possibility of generating spurious tuples. Let us discuss each point in detail. As we know, relation schema is composed of attributes. Whenever we group attributes to form a relation schema, we assume that attributes belonging to one relation have certain real-world meaning and a proper interpretation is also associated with them. This meaning is called semantics. If the semantics is simple, better will be the relation schema. Consider a relation employee department with attributes employee number, employee name, designation, department number, department name, and department location. In this relation, information about two entities are clubbed together, but this is not desirable. Let us see the guideline 1. Informally, each tuple in a relation should represent one entity or relationship instance. Do not combine attributes from multiple entity types into a single relation. That is, we should not mix the attributes of two different entities in a single relation. So split this relation into two relations, that is employee and department relations separately, and we can use a foreign key to refer one relation from another. Now the employee relation contains details about the entity employee, and the department relation contains the details about only one entity, that is the department entity. Obviously, if a relation schema corresponds to one entity type or one relationship type, then it is straightforward to explain its meaning. There is nothing logically wrong in this given relation, employee department, but we call this relation as a poor design. Why? Because it violates the guideline 1. So we have split the employee department relation into employee relation and department relation separately. Now in the employee relation, employee name, designation, and department number implying employee number, and in department relation, the attributes department name and location implying department number. So let us see the guideline 1. Design a relation schema so that it is easy to explain its meaning. That is, every single attributes are related to each other and it explains the meaning of an entity type or relationship type. Informally, each tuple in a relation should represent one entity or relationship instance. Do not combine attributes from multiple entity types into a single relation. In employee department relation, we mix the attributes of two different entities in a single relation. So actually this violates the guideline 1. So we need to split this relation into two relations such as employee and department as follows. And we can use foreign key to refer one relation from another. Obviously, in the relation employee, the attributes employee name, designation, and department implying employee number. And in department relation, department name and department location implying department number. So obviously, if a relation schema corresponds to one entity type or one relationship type, then it is straightforward to explain its meaning. Next informal design guideline is reducing redundant values in tuples. Redundancy of information in relation causes wastage of storage and update anomalies such as insertion anomaly, deletion anomalies, and modification anomalies. Because of duplication of data, there are wastage of storage spaces. We'll consider an instance of the employee department relation, which is used to store the information about employees working in a particular department. In this instance, the relation has 6 employees working on different departments on different locations. In this relation instance, the relation contains details about 6 employees and many employees are working on same department. For example, E01, E03 and E04 employees working on computer department at Bangalore. So for these 3 employees, the name of the department and location is repeated. This information is redundant. Now we can consider another department, Finance Chennai. 2 employees, E02 and E05 is working on the same department, Finance. This is also redundant information. So this is redundant data, redundancy of data. And this redundancy causes update anomalies such as insertion anomaly, deletion anomaly, and update anomalies. Let us see the insertion anomaly. Suppose we want to insert the details of a new department without giving the details of employee. In this case, insertion will not be possible because null values cannot be put into employee number as it is the key attribute. So this is insertion anomaly. Deletion anomalies. Information about an employee is deleted, and if he or she is the only one employee working in that department, then the department details also will be lost from the database. Here in the department D03, that is research, only one employee, Deshai, is working. See, if we delete, if the details of this employee is deleted, maybe because of retirement or transfer, the details about the department also will get deleted. Modification anomaly. If the location of the computer department have been changed, then the location of that particular department has to be changed wherever the department ID is D01. This may cause inconsistency if the change has not taken place in all relevant tuples. This is modification anomalies. Let's see the guideline 2. Design the relation schema so that no insertion, deletion, and modification anomalies are present in the relation. If any anomalies are present, note them clearly and make sure that the programs that updates the database will operate correctly. So according to the guideline, to reduce the redundancy of the data, we need to split the employee department relation into employee relation and department relation separately. Now the computer department comes only one, and now the department name is not repeating, thereby reduce the redundancy of data. Now let us see about the null values in tuples. In some schema design, we may group many attributes together into a fat relation. If many of the attributes do not apply to all tuples in the relation, we end up with many nulls in those tuples. Consider some of the cases where null values can be inserted in tuples. First, we can consider a student relation. A student can be a resident or it can be a non-resident student. In the case of NRI students, we usually store the passport details and some other social security number in the student relation. In the case of resident student, those attribute values will be null. This is one of the cases. Sometimes while inserting data into a relation, suppose we have an attribute date of birth. Sometimes at the time of insertion of the record, the date of birth may not be knowing. So we may insert null value in those cases. Sometimes the attribute value may be known, but due to some technical issues such as confidentiality, we may not be able to insert the values of such attribute. Instead of, we will give null values. So null values can have multiple interpretations, like the attribute does not apply to this tuple, or the attribute value for this tuple is unknown, or the value is known but absent or not been recorded yet. So let's see the guideline. As far as possible, avoid placing attributes in a base relation whose values may frequently be null. If nulls are unavoidable, make sure that they apply in exceptional cases only and do not apply to a majority of tuples in the relation. Note, having too many attributes with lot of null values results in wastage of storage and also leads to problem in join operations and aggregate functions. Now we'll see the last informal design guideline, disallowing possibility of generating spurious tuples. A spurious tuple is basically a record in a database that gets created when two tables are joined badly. For avoiding redundancy, we used to decompose the base relation into small relations. And while rejoining the decomposed relation, sometimes we may not be able to get the original tuples of the base relation. What is spurious here? It means generation of extra tuples without our notice. This will get generated whenever we try to attempt a natural join. A spurious means wrong information which are not valid. So for avoiding redundancy, we are decomposing our base relation into small relations on the basis of primary key. Sometimes we may need to rejoin the decomposed relations. While rejoining, if the decomposition was not proper, we may not get the original tuples of the base relation back. Instead of the original tuples, sometimes we may get some spurious tuples also. If we do the decomposition not based on primary key or based on non-primary keys, results in generation of spurious tuples or incorrect information. Let us see the guideline 4. Design relation schemas so that they can be joined with equality conditions on primary key foreign keys, which guarantees no spurious tuples to be generated. Do not have relations that contain matching attributes other than primary key foreign key combinations. If such relations are unavoidable, do not join such relations. We'll summarize the informal design guidelines: maintaining EC semantics for better schemas, avoid redundancy to avoid update anomalies, avoid values to reduce wastage of storage spaces, and the last, avoid generating spurious tuples due to bad joins. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will be discussing functional dependency.